you're going to get like more than 100x in 1 year, you've got to expect, that's not that big a retrace after you've done 100x, right?
But for the individual, it depends when they get in. It's okay for the people who get in at $2.
Yeah, well, Bitcoin was like that in 2012, 2011. Do you remember the double pump, and then it came back to, and then like it was $1,200 to 150, and then it did a 130x or something like that from 2015 to 2017. So like Bitcoin's no different, but now it's very different, right? Because the difference between a shitcoin, like a tiny little shitcoin market, and like Bitcoin is effectively the ability for a trader to sell what they haven't got today from the future, from these futures markets. So as it's rallying, I can sell it. And so when you can't sell it, then there's no demand and supply. It's just demand with no one really wanting to sell. And the thing goes exponential and you get this parabolic. I see Parabolic Trav, who was well known back in that era to really call these parabolic curves, but it's pretty difficult now because Bitcoin doesn't do parabolics, it does straight lines. Because these fundamental, new instruments have come in to, impact the demand and supply. So, it's a different era. But if you're trading these little tiny low cap coins, it's kind of like the early days of Bitcoin. Not recommending if you want to really know how markets work, put a few bucks on the line and learn how these markets work. Trading is actually a good experience. Just don't put big money in. The market's restructuring is what I say. Like the amount of sell-off we had from 69,000 to, 32.9K? Like, wow, there was not much hodlers selling, I tell you. There was just risk-off sell-down from futures exchanges, and that those traders led the price. They were dumping their futures, their quarterly futures, and eventually the hodlers started selling down, ever so slightly, and it was quite different from what happened in May. In May, you could kind of predict it, right? You could see the hodlers were starting to dump, and those hodlers were a lot of those guys that were buying in, new hedge funds, institutional money, family offices. They were buying in from that breakout from 20,000 all the way up to 50 to 60,000. There was a huge amount of buying that was underlyingly, spot buying, taking those coins off the exchanges, putting into cold storage for long-term investment. And it seems like a lot of those guys sold off and dumped in May. And you could see that coming. But here, very little people sold. It was a very gradual slide down on on-chain demand. And yet the price was sliding and kept sliding. And it was led by the futures, which was different from what we normally see, which is the on-chain demand supply tends to lead the price action. So it's one of these weird times, and I'm kind of interested to see what the structure sort of looks like and how the dynamics work between all the different participants now that we've got futures ETFs here. And the way that the price is behaving right now is so different from where it was in the first half of last year. It's changed so many times though. This is like, I feel like it's like, coming out of the 30,000 bottom that was like sort of June, July, that rally was quite different from others. And I think that was a transition where, in that rally upwards, that was when the futures ETF started to go live. This is just as my view on it, just seeing how the price is being impacted by, in relation to what the futures are doing. Just looking at the two different movements, and it's like the weighting's gone towards the futures a lot more now. And the only difference that I can account for it in between that time is the ETFs that went live in between that time, from the last bottom to now.
Do you want to know one thing about crypto? I made over 3000% in profit in a few weeks. Fact is, the traditional financial system, the traditional money system makes you poor, not rich. If you want to earn $500,000, $1 million, you have to wait until you're 50, 60, 70 in the traditional financial system, and you probably will still be broke. And you will be old. This is not a sexy combination, as you can imagine. But the question is, how can you start in crypto and make these profits? Where to invest? Where to start? My name is Gunnar and I'm from Germany, as you can hear, and things are a little bit different in Germany. More about that later on. Fact is, there are lots of different cryptocurrencies. It's a gigantic universe where beginners and professionals get easily lost. But there is light at the end of the tunnel. There are 7 key steps you need to follow to become successful in this market. You have to know them, and if you fail one of them, it's literally impossible to succeed in this market. Just an example, one of the key points is your exchange, and one of the biggest are, for example, Binance and Coinbase. These are trusted and well-established exchanges, but, and this is a big but, you won't find the super profitable coins on those exchanges. The unknown super profitable coins that get gigantic profits are not traded on those kind of exchanges. They are traded on much smaller insider platforms that are barely known. And I can tell you what those super secret exchanges are and why they are so profitable. And another super important thing are the right information sources. The point is, the internet is gigantic. There are hundreds and hundreds of YouTube channels, blogs, pages, and much more. And there are also market makers and influencers. For example, Elon Musk, he is not a crypto guy, but the moment he recommended Dogecoin, it went through the roof, to the moon, so to say. But why did he recommend it? Where did he hear it from? He didn't hear it from newspapers. And believe me, he is listening to someone. But you have to know who, and you have to react before he is reacting. This is really, really important. And these are only 2 of the 7 steps you have to follow in order to be successful in crypto. And if you want to know all of these steps in much more detail, and if you want to have a comprehensive checklist, here's what you should do. There is a link below this video. Click on this link and you will get the opportunity to subscribe to my channel. Click on the link and you will see a video where I explain the next steps. So see you soon. Click on the link now. I'll see you there.